Do you follow me? A lot of times our wisdom is coming from the same place that broke us. Because we're not going back to the true, pure light. Well, how can I go back to my pure truth? I've been hurt. Yeah, we all have. We all have. And we're going to get hurt some more as life continues to happen. Because that's another thing. Being spiritually woke don't mean you don't get hurt no more. A friend of mine said that somebody told him, you're supposed to be woke. He says, but why do you get sad? He's like, you're supposed to be woke. You should never be sad. Really? So now we're dividing our spirituality from our humanity. Somebody say undivided. Undivided. We have to figure out how do we stand in the world as one, fully, just like the Christ, just like Jesus, fully man and fully God, right? Why do you think you're any different? Well, he was the only begotten, the only begotten son. Why would we think that we're any different? We have to figure out how to integrate that self, that space. All right, let's go real quick. That's my boy right there. All right. Yeah. Somebody asked me, I get people that ask me all the time about the whole spiritual awakening. So here's a little story. All right. This is how my life got flipped. All right.
Are you gonna rap it?
No. All about how. I'll let you do that because I ain't got all that. I ain't got all that in me. I didn't get that gene. There's a lot of stuff I didn't get that I wish I would have gotten. I didn't get it. For me, everybody knows I like to be naked, right? So, this is part of my story. Don't laugh at my story. All right, so, no. For me, my life has always been weird. At least experiencing, and you all probably feel that way too. I honestly feel like I came here already knowing and seeing and sensing some things. And then I said this one time in one of our groups, and then I was put to sleep. And the more studying and stuff that I'm starting to do, and meditation and prayer, I'm starting to realize you were put to sleep. You came here woke, or at least halfway woke, and then you were put to sleep. The moment we pop out of our mother's womb, we're being conditioned. They say if we really want to find the spiritual people on the earth, go to what do you call it when the babies are just born? When the babies are born. What's the place called? In the hospital. What they?
The maternity ward?
Yeah. When the baby's born. Bowling. When the people say they have bowling balls, All right, so if you really want to find the spiritual, go to the maternity ward and check out the babies. Check them out. And then, at some point, we start despiritualizing them. We may train them in religion or train them in whatever, but some of the whole theory of relational consciousness is children from the age of birth up to about, we're giving you about 4, between the ages of 4 to 7, are at their highest spiritual peak. But because of us, parenting them and doing what we do, we train them now in fear. We train them away from that spirituality. We train them away from the imaginary friend who, for me, my imaginary friend was God. His name wasn't Jimmy, John, James, or nothing. It was God. And I went, who you talking to, God? That was my imaginary friend. We see the babies and the little things going, and you look like, what are they laughing at? What are they smiling at? These kids come out, they are fresh from the source.
Right.
They're fresh from the source. And then we condition them in, well, let me show you how you gotta make it in the world. Let me show you how you gotta make it. You don't do this, you ain't gonna make it. All right, so at the end of the day, we end up we condition them out of being who they really are. We condition them away from their pure light. Some of the things that we see when we talk about people have been molested or this and that, we say that their innocence had been taken away or their innocence had been violated. That has happened to all of us. All of you, put your hand right here. All of you have been molested. Not necessarily sexually, but we've been molested from the purity that we really are. And now, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years later, we're trying to figure out all this spiritual awakening. And it's this, that, and the other. Right? Because we've been molested spiritually. Right? This is one of the reasons people talk about the whole parenting. This is one of the reasons I say I don't want to raise. I don't want no more. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand the desire for children. Me. Now I got 3. I got 3 of them. I got a 3-piece spicy. And they have been the best children ever. Like I cannot, Rashawn's friend asked me the other day, so what's the best part of parenting what would you say the best part of parenting has been? This was my face. Nothing. I mean, and I was being honest. And she's like, oh my God. I was like, I had no desire to ever be a parent. I said, I guess you'd say the best part is that I have great kids. That sounds harsh, don't it? But I had when I held my daughter, my first child, when I held her in my hand, I cried. And my ex-wife was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, you see this? We are responsible for raising this thing. And I literally cried because I was like, I'm sorry for bringing you into this mess. All because your mama thought she was cute one day. I always blame her. It's always her fault. All right, so these women, I tell you, that's why Eve came into the story. No, I'm just playing. All right. So anyway, all right. So here, let's go to, let me keep y'all on the slide, right? But anyway, what I was going to say is, with my story, some of the things is, coming to say this real quick. I stood in the mirror, and I just kind of had this, standing in the mirror, naked. Don't y'all imagine it. Yeah. It looks good though. But anyway, standing in the mirror, and I could hear God say, you should just look at yourself. And later I found out this was actually psychological things that people do. So the whole mirror exercise thing. What do you see? And I cried. I cried because, one, what I saw wasn't what I remembered. What I saw wasn't what I hoped it to be. What I saw wasn't really, I saw evil. I saw that I could kill somebody. And this is literal, because I was a stubborn, can y'all believe it? I was stubborn. It's unbelievable, as loving as I am. I saw that I could kill somebody and walk away as if nothing happened. That, for me, and this was in my, I was 18, I think I was like 18. It bothered me. It's like I could really kill you and be fine. And my mind went back to things that my grandmother used to say, because there's one specific situation I took. I had a hammer, a bottle of, those, I ain't telling my age, those Pepsi bottles that used to be glass. Yeah. Okay, so I had one of those, right? Just because it was laying around, not because that was my era. I had one of those, and I had hit my brother with it, right? He was bigger than me, so I had to use something to hit him with. So I hit him with this bottle. My grandma said, "You don't be hitting nobody." But she gave me the whole little spiel, and I said, "I'll hit you." Oh. Yes, I did say it to my grandma. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That's how I got this scar. No, but I said, "I'll hit you." But what came to my mind was, and my brother used to tell people, my brother's crazy, don't mess with him. Like one of his friends would buy, said, "You tell your friend to leave me alone, I will cut him." All right? I literally went in the house and went to cut his friend and grabbed my brother's, because he jumped in front of him. Whatever. He's like, "This dude is crazy." And he said, "I told you he was crazy." Right? Because I would have felt nothing. Now, does it mean that ultimately it wouldn't have bothered me on the inside? But the space that I was in, I had grown hard. I grew up in the hood too, so I had grown hard. I had grown used to seeing issues, used to seeing people that was acting crazy, or used to seeing people that was doing things that just did not seem right. All right? Was in therapy as a kid, saying that I saw monsters. But the reality, and then when they asked me what was the monster, I would draw like a little Jabba the Hutt kind of thing. But that's not really what I saw. I was a little smarter than, whatever, because who I really saw was people. It was humans. But I can't go in this therapist's office and tell her, well, I see people and they're monsters, so then I drew a monster. I don't know what logic that was to me. All right, but it made sense to not say that these were regular people, because then it would probably lock me away. Why a Jabba the Hutt would not lock me away, but seeing people and calling them monsters would? I don't know. All right, so ask the 10-year-old me. All right, but I stood in that mirror and I was able to see all of these ugliness that was in me. I walked away. I think it was about a week or so later, maybe even a month. Come back and do the same thing again. And I heard God say, as clear as day, I want you to look deeper. Is that all you see? I want you to look a little bit deeper. I don't want you to look past what you see. The fact that you would kill somebody and move on about it. But I want you to look deeper beyond that. Because, see, that's a part of your conditioning. You feel me? But I want you to look beyond that. What do you see? Again, I'm crying because, and I swear, at 18, at this age, I was able to actually see. And when I say see, I actually really mean remember who I am. And it brought tears to my eyes, and God says to me, can you love you even though you see the part of you that would kill somebody and walk on as if as if nothing happened? Because if you can't love the you that would F up, you're going to live a life divided. Not saying indulge the part of you, but if you can't, because your love, and I found myself saying this to a client this week. He was trying to hide some stuff from me, and I hate when people try to lie to me. It's just, I'm going to love you regardless of what you do. Somebody needs to tell you that I'm going to love you regardless of what you do. Now that don't mean, me loving you don't mean that I'm supporting you feel what I'm saying? All right? But somewhere we need to know that there is an unconditional love that comes to me regardless of what I do. And as a matter of fact, if we don't know that, some of the ill behaviors that we have will never change. Until we're exposed again to the pure light that actually comes within us. So some of the first thing, just swipe again. No way, that's two of them. All right, but anyway, the first one is introspection. Are you able to really do true introspection into yourself? Really look at yourself for all that you are, or all that you, I would say, kind of can encompass or embody. Are you able to really look? Will you really be honest about you? All right, I told you that everybody had these things up there on there about their exes and this, that, and the other. All right, but what are you not saying? What are you not saying about you? At the end of the day, if all of your failed relationships was about them, you're not doing some introspection. We all play a part in, I think I used a story a couple years ago, maybe even here. I saw this couple, and I love to see friendship groups and even married couples that are actually friends, not just romantically married. And there was this couple, this old white couple, and the woman is just a yapping. And the man is walking like, oh my God. We was at some hotel in California, and she's just a yapping. He was playing a part in the dysfunction. There's a role, even though he wasn't saying nothing, and she just yapping at him. He was still playing a part. In our relationships, what tends to happen is we create a certain dynamic. Any dynamic. So sometimes the way I act with you may be different than the way that I act with Cam, because her energy mixed with our energy creates this. We create H2O together. Remember I talked about that last time? Right? When we put this element with this element, it creates that. When I put this element with that element, it creates that. And this is how our relationships end up flowing. So without my element, the water won't happen. Y'all follow what I'm saying? So in that sense, even if your responsibility is only 1%, which could just be the simple fact that you're there. You're playing a role. All right, so we have to really take this thing, and I gave a light version of it, but I really encourage people to kind of go deeply with introspection, and looking at yourself, realizing that there are some days where you ain't as spiritual as you want the rest of the world to know you are. What we do with our shadow self, do you feel? There's a shadow self, I call it, just our shadow self, that we don't want nobody to know. It don't. Socially, it ain't gonna work. It's gonna mess up the image that I have. Now I told y'all before, I've already ruined my reputation. And I did it I kind of did it purposely. Was because like, I'm going to expose, this is me. This is me. Do you love me or do you not? Now me telling you this is me, do you love me, do you not, is not saying you have to agree with everything I do, or it's not even saying that you have to accept me in that way, except in the sense of, well, that's just LeAnzar, so we just gonna whatever. Like, don't tell me that my feet don't stink. I'm not saying that, all right? But I'm saying generally in a sense, if I don't give you all of me, how do I know that you love me? Are you following me? You follow me? All right, there are things that I say, I have no desire to, well, I don't say no desire. There's some words I try to stay away from just because, you know, I have no intentions to ever cheat in my relationship. But do you know that that's a conversation like, oh, I could cheat? Do you know why that's a conversation? Because I got to give you the dark side. And because I desire a spiritual partnership, not this romantic stuff that everybody's doing. It's cute. But I desire a spirit. I want you to know me so that you can love me. All right? There's a part of me that if I am put into a corner, if I'm put into a corner in the right way, I might act up. Do you feel what I'm saying? Do you feel what I'm saying? All right. Well, that can ruin your relationship. It sure can. And I would rather the truth ruin my relationship than me acting like I'm exempt from such things. Well, you always talk about love and this and that. How can you? You're right. And one of the reasons that I talk about love is because that's really who I know that I am, and that's what I want to surface. But I'm also aware of my humanity, that when pushed into a certain space, I will act up. This is me being undivided and actually really realizing you have to realize your vices in order for your virtues to really make any sense. All right? All right? I got that. So introspection, the other thing is integration. That's actually kind of what I was talking about. Integrating this to the point of saying, can I still be loved? Can I still love me? Can I still operate from this place of oneness and whatever, even though I see that there's areas of my life that are shadow, areas of my life that are dark. All right? This is what I'm running into. What I'm hearing a lot of times, like I said, even this last 21 days, what I'm hearing a lot of people say, well, it's hard to whatever, it's hard to this, is that, the other. I'm not taking away the fact that it may be hard to do some of these things. But what I am trying to strip us of is taking away the fact that you're not worthy. All right? We use a lot of language that talks about deserving. I hate the word deserve. When it comes to our relational dealings, when it comes to our spiritual dealing with self. The universe God does not deal with us based on deserving anything. God deals with us based on our worth. Now, all of these other little things that we have in our life, where you didn't work hard. Well, if you don't work hard, you ain't gonna get a check. I mean, so it's like y'all know that. Y'all know the thin line between those things. But ultimately speaking, the universe, God, the creator, is unconditional regarding you. Every single day you keep waking up and breathing. But he didn't bless me with a new job. Well, is that the universe? Is that really the universe? God blessed me with a $3 million house. So you special. Because Andre, in your house $3 million?
No, it's not.
No, 2.5.
It's close.
It's like, it's close. But, so it's like, so then now we have these measures. You feel what I'm saying? Because the universe, he's going to bless Val, but he's not going to bless Will like that. He has now respect to the person. There's a lot of things that we have assigned to God that is really just the operation of how we flow. and how we operate. Now, that's not necessarily saying I'll take away God's blessing. If I was in the Baptist church, they get mad and say, well, the Lord bless me with whatever. All right, so there's the introspection, there's the integration, and then there's, it didn't work, Will. Oh, then integrity. Integrity, anybody know what integrity means? Almost done.
Do the right thing.
Beyond that, go beyond that.
When nobody's looking.
Go beyond that.
You do what's right when nobody's looking.
And to not expect anything in return. No.
You just read the definition.
The integrity of a thing.
Solidness.
There we go.
Yes.
Whole.
Oh, okay.
One. The integrity. The quality of it. Upholding the integrity of it. And we think of integrity more so from the standpoint of integrity is not necessarily just telling the truth or doing the thing when nobody's looking or whatever. It's actually living it and actually standing in not just morality. There's a difference between being moral and being integral.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And standing in integrity. Morals is based on right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity is based on design. Ooh, that was good. Morals, I gotta go back and read. Morals is based on our ideas of right and wrong, which can be relative. Integrity is based on the design. It's based on, so here's where I talk a lot of times, even with relationships and stuff like that. People have all these little questions about relationships, and it's kind of like, well, what is the integrity of your relationship? Should it be this? And if it is that, what do you need to do in order for that to be whole? Because that's the aim. We want to be whole, right? All right, being one, being undivided. To be undivided and to be unconditional is to be integral. The world plays against integrity. We throw the word around and we use it in that moral sense. All right? We use it just in that sense. And we're not going to the pure, again, somebody say go on the other side of the stained glass. That's where the pure light is. Integrity is on the other side of the stained glass. And you have to live that out. Even though you came through the blue, you got to live it out as if you're on the other side. I remember when I was writing the book, and I used a lot of the creation story from the Bible, and talking about Adam and Eve, and I just kept hearing, if you want to know how your relationships should be, you need to go way to before they fell. Only a couple verses. You need to go to before they fell. That'll show you how it's supposed to be. This is why when I'm talking about marriage, people get mad when I'm talking about marriage and saying the women just are in these relationships where they think these men are supposed to take care of them. Do you know that if that story is true, I believe it's all kind of allegorical, but from that particular story, the reason the man is in the head position, there's a scripture after they ate. It's after they ate of the tree, and God said to him, said to Eve, now your desire will be for your husband, and he will lord over you. Mm-hmm. This is where hierarchy in marriage came from. Mm-hmm. And we just keep buying into it and keep feeding it. Before that, they were in a relationship of equal. Mm-hmm. She was bone of his bone. Not even piece of his bone. She was bone of his bone. And flesh of his flesh. He didn't see her as lesser than him. Right. She didn't see him as higher than her. Yet and still, they both held each other to a divine standard. Do you feel what I'm saying?